Welcome to the Soul Driven Podcast. I believe that when we invest in ourselves, the world benefits. If you are searching for meaning and purpose, if you are unsure about how to combine the spiritual with the everyday, if you are ready to uncover who you truly are, then you've come to the right place. The Soul Driven Podcast is dedicated to exploring the intersection of living a soulful and spiritual life in a driven and ambitious world. Join me for practical guidance, truthful discussions, and interviews with people who are successfully living a soul-driven life. My name is Anna Hendricks, spiritual guide, marketer, and your host. Thank you for being here. What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another solo episode here on the Soul Driven Podcast. I am so thankful, so grateful to have you here. Honored as always, because I know how valuable our time is, my time is, your time is, and that you want to share it with me just makes me feel all warm and tingly inside. And I'm so excited to share the Confidence series with you. OMG. All the nerdiness that I could possibly muster up for you, okay? I'm going to put on my cheerleading outfit now, and I'm just going to go to town. Okay, not really. Just going to calm down. Super excited though. Okay. But before we dive into that, really the only announcement that I have for you is a reminder. Come join me YouTube every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live weekly Akashic forecast reading. Come hang out, ask questions, do the things. I would love to have you, love to see you. This is still a newer offering, but it was certainly something else that I wanted to do to just kind of give back. So if this calls to you, awesome. I would love to see you there. And if you can't make it live, be sure to check out the replay. They're always there, always there. Okay, so let's dive in to today's topic, the Confidence series. Folks, I have to tell you just on the front end, this has never happened to me before. And I am so excited to share this with you because I know that for those who feel called to join, this is going to be life-changing. And not only for you, but also for me. Because I too am in the midst of healing and growing. We always are. And if you're ever listening to anyone who says they've got it all together, or they are done learning, or that they have whatever, hit some peak where there is nowhere further to go, well, just feel sad for them. Because life is learning. And if you are not continuously growing and stepping out and reaching, then what's the point, you know? So if you've been listening to this podcast for the past several weeks, if you've been reading my blogs on Medium or joining my weekly forecasts on YouTube or any really thing that I've been putting out there, you know that I have been going through it. Been getting my ass kicked, to say the least. It's been rough. It has been more than rough. It has been getting my face dragged through the mud of so many insecurities in my life, of so many different ways in which I do not value myself, where I am lacking in self-worth, how big of a role self-doubt plays in my life. And, you know, I'm human, right? I believe that all of us struggle with these things in one way or another and at different times throughout our life. And I've certainly, you know, had these things pop up throughout my life. It's not, you know, I think I've always, one of my big life themes in this incarnation for me specifically to work through and heal is rejection. So I certainly have battled with these issues throughout my life. This is not new, but I have never gone through what I've been going through. And just to kind of ground this all really took off in sort of the latter part of March. And, it's the middle of May now. So it's about 2 months of, whew. But I guess, it's been coming full circle. It's been lightening up. It's been doing those things for the past week or two. And so I don't want to make it seem like it's lasted longer than it has. But, when you're going through hell, whether it is one day, 1 week, or 1 year, it feels far, far too long. And for me, for someone who doesn't like to get or to be uncomfortable for very long, it's really been hard because, I understand this stuff. I understand that when we go through difficult things that we're going to come out of it. I understand that there's a lesson on the other end. I understand. And so it's really easy for me to just be like, okay, I'm going to grin and bear it and get through it because I know it's not going to last that long. And I know I can just, shimmy my way through it and maybe numb my way out through it. And you know what I mean? And then it'll pass and it'll be over and whatever. But that's not even been possible for me through this. And mind you, I have tried. I have tried to numb it out. I have tried to do the things, and the things haven't worked. And so I have been forced to deal with, to see, to have up all of these things that have happened throughout my life come up, and to really experience them over again, feel them over again. And I mean, this is everything from being told some really awful things about myself when I was young. Being told that I was too loud, that I needed to keep it down, that I didn't need to outshine the boys, that I was too curvy, that I was bullied in high school because the boys liked me and my girlfriends did not like that. I was bullied because I was very curvy. I was constantly pushed down. And to be quite frank with you, especially when I was young, I just wanted to disappear. I wanted to blend in, and I've never been someone who could blend in. I would look at girls in my classes and think like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be her. I wish I could just the quiet girl who just kind of reads, who just does her own thing. And I would just look at her and be like, man, that's got to be bliss, because that was never me. I could never get away from the constant attention. And with the constant attention, the constant opinions and judgments and all the things pointed at me in every direction. I was always too much, always too much. When I was a strange spiritual person. And whenever I would share those things or talk about those things, I was too much. Because I grew up in small businesses and I'm just like a freaking business-minded woman, I would always get in trouble at the places where I worked because I would take too much initiative. The last job that I had, I got fired because I was intimidating the marketing staff. That's literally what I was told. And basically the entire marketing staff was guys. And mind you, my intimidation for them was me sharing with them how they could be doing their job better, which I won't say that I wasn't maybe stepping outside my boundaries or being too arrogant, or I'm not going to say that I was without, that I was totally innocent in that. But I was passionate, and my passion has often come across as bragging or being arrogant or something of that nature, when that was never really the case. I was just excited and I was just passionate. It was no, don't do it like that. Do it like this, because this is how it'll work. And this is, anyway, on into my life as an entrepreneur. I joined this location independent entrepreneurial community. They're people located all over the world. And when I did this, I remember thinking, I'm going to meet the man of my dreams in this community. This is where I'm going to find him. Because, these guys are business owners and they love to travel and they love taking care of themselves because they understand how important the body is. They understand how important a clear mind is. Quite a few of them are spiritual. Like a lot of the things that I want in a man, I thought, oh, they're going to be within this community. And I remember sitting at a dinner one night. I think there was only me and maybe one other girl there. Mostly guys. And they were talking about how American women were the worst women to marry because we are too ambitious. I excused myself shortly after that and went home crying my eyes out. I was so devastated. And that was not the last time that I heard that. Not by any stretch of the means. They would tell me that I was bossy. They would tell me that I would never find a man because, I was too much. And mind you, all of these attributes, I would always think like, if I was a dude, you would respect me, but I'm a woman. And all of these different things were coming up for me, making me second guess what I'm doing now. I owned a marketing agency. I was the CEO of a marketing agency for a decade. Now I'm a spiritual guide. Like what? So many things, things about my appearance, things about my body, things about my relationship, things about every area of my life, about how I'm growing this business. And all of these memories were just coming up. And really, honestly, it was debilitating. There were several days that I went through where it was just like, I just wanted to cry. I just wanted to break down. I couldn't bring myself to write another blog. On Medium, I can't even tell you how many blogs I started, 10 plus, easily, just through the month of April in and of itself. I would say 15 plus because there were so many, and I would start writing and then just have to stop because all of these memories were popping up, all of these reminders of how I was imperfect. And it's been tough. It's been really tough, But I knew I would come out of it, and I knew that there would be something at the end of the tunnel. And I'm so grateful for my spiritual practices, and I'm so grateful for my relationship with the Akashic Records because I got to tell you, they got me through it 100%. The Akashic Records, I went in storming, screaming, angry multiple times. I prayed quite often. Of course, my meditations, tapping, the being outside. Doing the things that, watching funny animal reels on Instagram on repeat. All in an attempt to continuously bring me back to myself, bring me back to my center. And I was really starting to come out of it. I guess about 2 weeks ago, where things started shifting, and at least it started lightening, and it wasn't this wave after wave of how when you get stuck in the waves. If you're in too far, as soon as you stand up, another one comes and pushes you over, and that was what it felt like for weeks. And I honestly, when I think back about it, I don't really fully know how I got through it. I want to cry now just because I'm I want to grieve for what that was. I'm going to pull myself together. But things started shifting, and I started getting some understanding about what was going on. And, part of that is something that is still coming to the surface for me, so I can't fully talk about it. since I am still in process. And that was also what the Akashic Records shared with me. You know, they were so helpful and loving to me throughout this entire process, but they were also kind of like, Anna, you're still going through it. We can't just tell you what's on the other side. This is something for you. And, you know, it's that like unconditional loving act of like a parent for a child. Like, no, I can't just solve this for you. I can't just give you the answer, because you have to figure it out on your own, so that you will know you figured it out on your own, so that you will have the confidence, you know what I mean? To be like, yeah, I did it. I got through it. And those things are not always easy. So last week, I guess you can understand that I was very excited to get away for our vacation. Very, very excited. And if you don't know, my partner and I had booked a cabin in the woods in Virginia, away from people, places, things, to, just have a legit vacation, which for me is not about sightseeing, is not about being around people, is not about being busy or doing all the things. It's about chilling the F out, turning off the electronics, separating myself from real life, just letting my mind completely relax and think about nothing. And it is glorious, let me tell you. Glorious, glorious. And it's my first vacation since 2020. I usually make it a point to get away every year so that I have this space for myself. The first time that I started taking these vacations was in 2015. And I, of course, showed up on that vacation with a list of things that I was going to do. And it was at this very quiet monastery where I typically love to go. And she was like, you're going to sleep a lot. Because I was like, I haven't taken, a vacation or anything like that in several years. She was like, you're going to sleep a lot. And I was like, oh, no. I've got stuff I've got to do. And the first day was a train wreck, but by the second day it was on. And I slept so much, and I read so much, and I went for so many walks in the woods, and oh my gosh. And I realized how priceless it is to do this for ourselves. So anyway, I was really looking forward to this time, especially after everything that's been going on. And what was funny about it too is that back in March, Lori Gifford, who I interviewed earlier this year on the podcast, and we'll leave you a link to that so you can check her out. She gave me a tarot card reading. And one of the things that was mentioned in that reading was that I was going to go on a trip at the end of spring, early summer, that was really going to inspire me. And I thought, well, of course, Carl, my partner and I, we had already booked this trip. And so and I was getting all things geared up to pull all my pieces together and launch my Access Your Akashic Records course. And so I figured, just like the break would be inspiring, or that like something would really come to me about the course while I was there. You know what I mean? But whatever. I had more or less just kind of forgotten about that. And then the second night that I was on our trip, I was sitting outside in this beautiful landscape, rolling hills, all greens in the evening. The sun was mostly down. I had built this gorgeous bonfire. Always a fan of building bonfires. My partner actually started it. Well, we built it together, but I was really feeding it and keeping it going. And he was inside doing some things, and I had been outside for a while by myself and was just honestly staring off into the distance, just thinking about freaking whatever came to my mind. But I was not thinking about work. I was not thinking about anything serious. There was none of that happening. And all of a sudden, it was just like, boom. And the confidence series just fully came in. I've been divinely led to do multiple things over the past couple of years when it comes to my work with the Akashic Records, freaking becoming a spiritual guide and leaving my marketing agency, all kinds of things. And I think I've always been divinely led during my life, but this has never happened. It was literally like someone walked into my house and just dropped one box, just boom. And I just took one look at this box and just saw everything. How it was supposed to go, what it was supposed to be, what was the reason behind it, the who, what, wow, where, all those things in one instant. I don't know if that's claircognizance. I don't know what it was, but it was a download of just the nth degree. And I just sat there with it and just kind of like combed through the things and like let all of these understandings just surrounding it continue coming in. There was, the parts of me that were like, well, I'm supposed to be launching the Akashic course, but it was like, no, you will be doing this first. You won't be doing this before the Akashic Records. And then into the name, the Confidence series, which honestly, I don't know that I would have named it that per se, especially on the front end. It makes a lot more sense to me now, but they just gave it to me so crystal clear. And it was one of those things where it was like, I wasn't even questioning the fact that I'm not perfectly healed in this area, because I saw immediately that it is part of my wounding, part of all that I have been going through over the past several weeks is so that I could show up and facilitate this series in a way that will make space, create comfortable, open, transparent space for those who are called to attend, so that I can be with them there on their level, and also so that I could heal along with them. They showed me that this is my path. This is part of the work that I'm called to do, that this is just the very beginning. And it was just so freaking cool. I mean, honestly, I just really sat there in awe. Just like, what? This? Oh my gosh. It made complete sense to me why I had gone through and have been going through all I've been going through. I wouldn't want to take this or participate in this sort of a series with someone who has it all together, with someone who I don't feel like I can identify with. I want to take this course, or I would want to take this course with someone that is real, with someone who is open about their shortcomings or about their questions or about the ways in which they second guess themselves, so that I could more fully show up. And that's part of what's been going on, because this is the work that I'm meant to do. And this series has so much more blossoming to take place as it moves forward. I'm not even going to get into what's coming because it's pointless to share at this moment. But I am so excited to introduce you to the Confidence series and to invite you to come on this Akashic healing and activation journey, this reclamation, this reconnection to who we are, to what it is we are here to do, to how it is we are meant to show up in the world, all by first doing the dirty work of identifying what is holding us back, understanding what it is we need to become aware of, and then releasing it and letting it go. And the thing about confidence is it comes and it goes. It's not a one and done deal. It's not like once you have some confidence that you're always going to have that confidence. It doesn't matter freaking what it's about. Like authors who've written 20 plus books talk about how like they still have issues with their ability, with their self, with being able to write yet another book. Like they question themselves, they question their abilities. And you would think like after 20 books, you should have that down pat, but it doesn't work that way. Confidence is an emotion that ebbs and flows like anything else does. And no one is above this. This is not like just for the broken and weary. This is for all of us. This is for anyone who recognizes that these are things like that their lack of self-worth or the questions about themselves are holding themselves back. If you are someone like me who is meant to show up bright and shining in this world, and you've always been taught to play small, this is for you. You don't have to be drowning in what I've been drowning in the past several weeks. In fact, I hope you are not. But if that's you as well, absolutely come and be a part of this. So a couple of the things I'm just going to go over this high level because we'll be including a link in regards to a landing page where you can check out a lot more. In addition, please do not hesitate to reach out, ask me questions. I will help you to understand if this is the right course for you, because I want that to, I want it to be the right fit for both of us. And so I'm happy to help you or make some further explanations. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be meeting in a beautiful, beautiful, safe container every week in community, showing up. And I will be spending time with the Akashic Records before these sessions, because every week we're going to be covering a different topic in our life where we may be struggling with self-confidence, doubt, those sorts of things. And I will be asking you to bring your stories, but I'll be bringing practical advice, ways to work through these things from the Akashic Records, in addition to a number of other resources. There will be time for sharing. We'll be doing some journaling, and we'll also be walking through a beautiful activation from the Akashic Records to help clear those things out. And this is an activation, that I will be recommending and suggesting for attendees to do every day, in addition to workbook activities that they will have, but every day in between our meeting sessions to just continuously work through this, because there are layers here. And there's no one and done thing with anything when it comes to healing, right? Because healing's it's not linear, it's not black and white. It comes and it goes, it ebbs and it flows, right? We can think we're totally good in one area of our life, and 5 years down the road, boom, it pops back up, and we're like, oh, I thought you were gone. And it's like, nah, girl, I didn't go anywhere. I've just been laying low for a bit because there's another layer. There's another part of me that needs to be ushered out the door. And so this is kind of high level what we'll be doing every week. This is fully channeled through the Akashic Records and fully channeled with my guides, and then the guides of those who feel called to join. This is going to be a beautiful, supportive container for those who feel called. We'll have like a private community where we can gather and chat in between sessions. There's going to be so many just cool little offerings involved in this. So if this is something that calls to you or interests you, or something that you think could be beneficial for someone else, please do not hesitate to share this with them. You can send them the link and bypass all of my chatter if you would like to, or not. But the number one thing that I was shown regarding the Confidence series is that for those who feel called to join, this will be life-changing. Not only for those who join, but also for myself. We are all going to go through this beautiful healing journey together. And I am so excited. And I hope you join me. So this is all I have for you today. Make sure to check out the links in the show notes with all of the specifics, and that way you can take advantage. There's going to be some early bird pricing on this, and tickets are only going to be available for a short period of time. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you stay tuned. Be sure to join the newsletter for any updates and those sorts of things that are coming out about it, in addition to maybe just checking out our social channels if you'd like to. But yes, I would love to have you, and I hope I get to see you there. But either way, thank you so much for being here with me this week, coming back. Thank you for your support of this podcast. Have a wonderful week, and don't forget, when we invest in ourselves, the world benefits. Until next week.